Yeah. So look, if the Vegas over/under at the start of the season was 6.5, I'm guessing a lot of people's expectations for this team have changed. I'm trying to remember what they were nationally before, just what the kind of the vibe when you talked about this team was, and if I remember right, it was we don't really think the Cardinals. We're not like willing to predict them to do anything that great, but there were quite a few people nationally that were like, but keep an eye on this team. Just in case. Remember, Drew Petzing was getting a lot of buzz before the season. There was a thought nationally where the Cardinals were not like projected to win a ton of games, but there was this thought of, but this could be the team that sneaks up on a lot of people. And I think they are sneaking up on a lot of people.
I think right now, after 10 weeks of the season, I would put them in the surprise category. Here they are. They're 6-4 after 10 games. And at the bye right now, and looking at their schedule again, I know there are a lot of pundits that are out there that are looking at the Arizona Cardinals like, you know what, they could win this division. They're going to win this division. I've seen some guys say they are going to win the division. For me, I can't even allow myself to think about that based on innings. I'm just thinking about the next game that they're going to play. And the reason being is because I know that is the mentality that is inside that locker room. I do allow myself to look down the road. I do, okay? But not where I'm going to say they're going to win the division. There is so much football left in this season. You got to be kidding me.
What was the ESPN story had them at 49% to win the division now?
Yes.
And they had the Niners at what,
36%, okay. Correct?
I think that's what it was. I'm looking at ESPN's power rankings right now. They have the Cardinals 10th out of 32 teams. So,
wow.
So they had the 49ers at 36%, Rams at 11%, Seahawks at 4%.
I nailed it.
What'd you have for dinner last night?
Exactly. Little rice and sirloin, I believe.
Have you texted Goldie yet?
No, I have not, but I've got a lot of stuff going on right now, Mel. I'm trying to do a broadcast. Okay, give me a break here.
I can talk for a minute if you want.
Don't do that, okay?
Right.
But honestly, the expectation of the Arizona Cardinals coming in here, I thought they were going to be a tough team. I thought they were going to be a physical team, one of the most physical teams in the National Football League. We're starting to see that. We're starting to see that come around offensively for this team, and even defensively to some degree. The culture, the physicality, the culture of physicality. Oh, that is a great song title.
Yeah, that is.
The culture of physicality. Oh, that is good. I'm going to write a song called The Culture of Physicality.
And you could put it on your album, I Don't Remember What I Had for Dinner Last Night. It'll be great.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Luke. But it's starting to form, and it's starting to settle. Breathe in, breathe out. Here at the bye week, the dust is settling, and that's what it is settling on. There is a culture of physicality here. The Arizona Cardinals are 6-4, largely because of that right now. I thought in the beginning of the season they could win 9 games. Guess what? They could easily surpass that.
Yeah. That's where my expectations have changed. I don't remember if on the show I said 8 or 9, but I remember saying a lot. The range is 7 to 10. I remember before the start of the season, they need to be and should be in the 7 to 10 range because of what Kyler did last year, because of what the team did when Kyler got back. They looked like about a 500 team last year, and you figured they were going to be, you can never project injuries, but you figured they were going to at least be a 500 team this year, if not, a little bit better. Now, to me, that has changed. They should win 10 games. There's no 7 to 10 range. They should win 10 games. What is that? The rest of the way, they got to go 4-3. I mean, they might even win 11 games.
Okay, 11 games. You know what I think of? It's so true. What are you talking about, Luke? 11 games? You got to be kidding me.
Oh.
9, all right. 10, you're getting crazy. 11, you're... Wow. You know what? One game at a time. Isn't that right, JG? One game at a time. I don't want to look down. I don't want to enjoy the moment right now. That's one of the things, too. I don't even want to look down the road anymore. Here we are at the bye. The bye is changing my perspective on this. It is. I don't even want to look. I just want to enjoy where we are today, where your feet are now, right?
Okay.
Isn't that right, JG? Just look around and enjoy where you are today and focus on today. Or can I just look at the schedule? Is that okay if I do that? I think as an analyst, it's okay.
I think it's okay. I mean, you've been looking at the schedule and they've still been winning. So
exactly.
I think in that sense, you're good. I'm trying to find that story that was on ESPN the other day. If you think you need to sound the alarms for me, how about ESPN's story the other day where they were like, when will the Cardinals lose again? And they started rolling out the schedule.
Oh my goodness. Don't even. Seriously. Yeah. You know what that is? That is purge worthy.
We know how this
right
goes.
It is. That is purge worthy. When will the Cardinals lose next?
Purge worthy. Also, that's a good band name. So you've got Purge worthy with your song. What was your song title?
Culture of Physicality.
Okay, yeah. See, look at that.
Yeah.
Perfect. No, they had Seattle 2 out of 3
Not
games.
the cult of personality, Basinonians. The culture of physicality. Oh, I love that.
Even better. Yeah, they the teams they have lost to this season, and maybe this is even pointless to even look back, but since we're at the bye week, the 4 teams they've lost to are a combined 29-9 now. They've lost to at least 2 Super Bowl contenders, Buffalo and Detroit. Detroit might be the favorite in a lot of people's minds, honestly.
Yeah. And they were one-possession games, both of them, were they not?
Yeah. Yes. And the Detroit one.
Ron Wolfley, remembering.
They did have a touchdown that shouldn't have been called back in that Detroit one. Washington, I think we would all agree Washington's legit. That's a real team.
Yes.
And the other one was to Green Bay, who I do think is good. So they are good. It's not, hey, guess what? I think Green Bay's good. They are good. So
that was great. Luke was kind of like, they're good. Surprise.
Gotcha.
Did you know that? They're good.
Gather around while I tell you Green Bay's good, especially in Green Bay.
What was your point? You were making a brilliant point.
My point is that those 4 teams have a combined 29-9 record. The first 2 games, Buffalo and Detroit, were one-possession games, like you said. The third one, the one to Washington, was the week after playing Detroit, and we all know everybody's record the week after. So the only game that you really can look back on and say, that one didn't make a whole lot of sense, was that they got blown out by Green Bay. That's the only one. They took a bunch of penalties, which they don't normally do. They just weren't ready at the start of the game, and Green Bay just destroyed them. But they've responded with 4 straight wins. So when you talk about what this team is capable of, or what could potentially happen going forward, or if your expectations have changed, how could they not have changed?
What's so encouraging to me about this, and I hope I'm not crossing any lines here, any show segment, any prehab that we were discussing before we actually got to this point of the show, but can I just say this right now? Again, this team is in a state of flux. This team is getting better because they have young guys that are developing. That's the most encouraging thing about it. It's not the schedule. It isn't. It's the skulls. It's the skulls that are inside the locker room for the Arizona Cardinals that are getting better. Guys like Marvin Harrison Jr., Garrett Williams, Dante Stills, Tip Ryman, Max Melton, Star Thomas, Isaiah Adams, Baron Brown. It goes on. Young guys that are really contributing to the Arizona Cardinals right now. Xavier Thomas. Isn't that right, Xavier Thomas? With the hack over the top of Aaron Rodgers. I'm just saying they have got a lot of young guys that are getting reps, that are making plays. How much better can they be? We're going to find out in the last 7 games on the Cardinals schedule because of these players, these guys developing. We're going to see where that ceiling is or isn't.
There's this story on ESPN where they broke all the teams into tiers as far as playoffs, and they have like the Super Bowl locks, which is Kansas City, Detroit, Buffalo, and Baltimore, and they go through, and the Cardinals are in the 4th tier, which is entitled "We're leaning yes" to make the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
But one thing I really liked, the tangible second half goal, they did this for each team, was win the games they should. And the reality is if the Cardinals win the games they should in the second half of the season, they are going to be right there in Week 18.
I like that. Win the games they should.
Yeah, should win.
Like that's right. Not the could win.
No.
The should win is a matter of
should win.
Yes. Like the Jets at home. They should have won that game. Like the Bears at home. Should have won that game.
I just saw a headline on the Bears of Matt Eberflus saying that Caleb Williams' job is safe. So that's how things are going in Chicago right now.
Great.
Jeez.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.